back to the Elseworlds. Salutations, fellow explorers of Elseworlds. Our recent expedition through the various alternate realities inhabited by the enigmatic Dark Knights has rekindled everyone's desire for the wondrous tales of Elseworlds. And what's even more thrilling, DC Comics is on the cusp of resurrecting the long-dormant Elseworlds imprint, a revival nearly 14 years in the making. To make this resurgence all the more remarkable, they're folding the captivating world of Dark Knights of Steel into this renewed Elseworlds universe. But before we start reading the new Elseworld comics scheduled for release next January, let's embark on a deep, immersive odyssey into the realm of Dark Knights of Steel, where the very first epic saga unfolds. Prepare yourselves, fellow travelers, as we set sail upon the Ultima Thule. Secure your temporal belts, for our expedition commences at this very moment in the magical world created by Tom Taylor and Yasmin Putri. But before we begin, we have a small request. If you like our content, please subscribe to our channel. It's a small click from you, but it means an Elseworld to us. Thank you, and let's begin. Dark Crisis. While traversing the ruins of Multiverse 2, Pariah's unhinged psyche unexpectedly established a psychic link with the formidable entity known as the Great Darkness. In his distorted perception, Pariah viewed this connection as a divine calling, firmly convinced that he had been selected as the Darkness's herald. However, the actuality diverged significantly. His fractured mind was inadvertently contaminated by the Great Darkness, and the voice he perceived was nothing more than an echo of his profound resentment towards the new realities that had replaced his multiverse, dating back to the time of the crisis on Infinite Earths. This macabre communion with the Great Darkness granted Pariah access to immense power, from which he conceived a malevolent stratagem. His objective was to construct a pristine and limitless multiverse, utilizing the virtuous inhabitants of Earth Zero as a catalytic force. His design entailed ensnaring each of these heroes within deceptive utopias, all with the ultimate goal of generating the crucial crisis energy required for his grand designs. This culmination led to the birth of an entirely new, boundless multiverse, with the added revival of numerous pre-crisis dimensions, and Earth 118, the world of Steel, was born. Elseworlds designate Earth 118. Step into an entirely new realm, teeming with superheroes and mutants, sorcerers and spellcasters, fighters and colossal dragons, espionage and betrayal, enchantment and the arcane arts, folklore and prophecies, and most importantly the bonds of love, friendship and family. In this medieval setting, this land finds its dominion primarily under the rule of three powerful kingdoms: the Kingdom of El, the Kingdom of Storms, and Amazonia. The Kingdom of Els. The monarchy of the Els was under the reign of King Jor-El and Queen Lara Lorvan. From their lineage came Prince Kal-El and Princess Zala Zor-El, with the vigilant Bruce known as the Bastard Bad Prince, serving as Kal-El's protector. Bruce, in turn, received support and guidance from his mentor and close companion, Alfred. Given Jor and Lara's Kryptonian origins, they, along with Kal and Zala, possessed superhuman capabilities under this Earth's yellow sun. The Kingdom of Storms. Monarch Jefferson Pierce held dominion over the Kingdom of Storms, where he emerged as a primary political adversary to the House of El. Within his realm, Jefferson's beloved children Jacob and Anissa harnessed the remarkable gift of electrokinesis, granting them command over lightning and tempests. John Constantine, initially a peasant within the Kingdom of Storms, one day fell into a trance and began to utter a prophecy. This vision prophesied the arrival of demons in the guise of men and the impending apocalypse. Learning of this prophecy, King Jefferson and his scribe swiftly rode out to document Constantine's words, interpreting them as a harbinger of the world's end. The prophecy went like this: "Come from the stars. They all look like us. They will sound like us, but they are not like us. They're demons, and the demons will take our world." The Kingdom of Amazons. Amazonia, which was often referred to as a paradise island, found its sovereignty under the rule of Queen Hippolyta and was home to the lineage of the old gods. This realm was a staunch political ally of the House of El, In this exclusively female domain, every inhabitant possessed extraordinary powers and underwent extensive training in martial arts, close combat, weapon mastery, and global knowledge, enhancing both their physical and intellectual prowess. Princess Diana, the daughter of Hippolyta, had an ongoing secret love affair with Zala Jor-El. It was strictly forbidden for any man to set foot on this island. Now that we are aware of the main characters at play from the different kingdoms, let's delve into the epic saga. The encounter of the Superkind. 19 years ago, Jor-El and Lara successfully escaped the cataclysm that engulfed their home planet Krypton, landing on Earth at the Kingdom of Waynes, a world still entrenched in a medieval stage of technological and cultural development. As Lara went into labor, a party of mounted archers sallied forth from a nearby castle, intending to attack them. Nevertheless, Jor-El utilized his heat vision to vanquish the assailants just as their son Kal-El came into the world. With great power comes great responsibilities. Luther, King Thomas's chief advisor, had a reputation for wisdom, yet concealed arrogance and superstition. When a masked stranger forewarned of Mount Christoph's impending eruption with detailed plans to prevent disaster, Luther's pride blocked him from heeding the advice or informing the Waynes. Jor-El, Lara, and Kal-El settled in a secluded cottage within the woods, aiming to remain hidden from the world. However, they were compelled to reveal themselves when they intervened to protect the kingdom from the volcanic eruption of Christoph Mountain. This exposed Luther's negligence. Banished for nearly destroying the realm, Luther unearthed a magic ring within the erupted mountain, which spoke to him to save the world. He was christened the Green Man, gaining immense power but losing his sanity and appearance. The Dying Oath. Jor-El and Lara forged friendships and advisory roles with King Thomas Wayne and Queen Martha, but a fleeting liaison between Jor-El and Queen Martha resulted in the birth of a son, Bruce. Instead of causing strife, this situation united the families. Lara also welcomed another child, a daughter named Zala. Tragedy struck when Thomas and Martha were assassinated by Luther. Jor-El wanted Bruce to be the king, so they promised Martha to become the monarch and keep the kingdom safe. They decided to tell Bruce the secret when he would be ready to rule. Looking at what the Green Man did, Amanda Waller, general of the Elves' armies, convinced them to imprison individuals with superhuman abilities, deeming them threats to the kingdom. The Undying Loyalty. Bruce, known as the Bastard Prince, had grown up without any knowledge of his biological father or his rightful claim to the throne. Unbeknownst to him, a mysterious figure dwelling in Hobbs Forest was steadfastly devoted to recognizing Bruce as the one true king. Once on a journey, Bruce and his guards were ambushed in Hobb Forest by a mysterious assailant known as the King's Bane. Instead of causing harm, Bane kneeled before Bruce, recognizing him as the rightful king and passionately asserting that the elves were the real villains. The Bane directed Bruce to the White Stag Inn for guidance on dealing with the elves. At the inn, Bruce discovered a group of loyal Wayne supporters plotting to overthrow the elves. Under the tutelage of the King's Bane, Bruce underwent months of intensive training to combat adversaries with superior powers through cunning and stealth. As the King Banes shared his past as a former royal guard for the Waynes, Bruce learned of the tragic day when the Green Man massacred Bruce's family. Despite his inability to save them and his own injuries, Dr. Crane had given him a magical mask that granted him mobility and strength. Bane pledged to ensure that Bruce, as the Wayne heir, would ascend the throne in memory of his parents. However, Bruce ultimately betrayed Bane, neutralizing him when he attempted to assassinate the elves in the castle. Bruce imprisoned Bane in the castle's dungeon, pledging his undying allegiance to the elves. The Children of the Night. 5 years prior, on the eve of All Hallows, Kal-El, Bruce, and Harley Quinn went undercover to leave the castle and partake in the city's festival. Kal-El and Harley radiated optimism for the future, while Bruce struck a somber tone, predicting a surge in lawlessness and dark days ahead. Their outing took an unexpected twist when a gang of street urchins snatched Harley's necklace. In pursuit, Bruce shadowed Richard Grayson, an exceptionally agile young lad. Impressed by Grayson's agility and quick thinking, Bruce finally caught up with him after Grayson rescued a child from an oncoming carriage. Meanwhile, Kal-El apprehended the remaining thieves, expressing concern that these youthful pickpockets might take a dark path towards outlaw and violence. Bruce was met with their assurance that their thievery was solely for survival, targeting those who could afford it and causing no harm. They call themselves the Robins, a group of orphan children. Rather than imprisoning them, Bruce extended an offer for them to work alongside him. They assisted Bruce, acting as trackers and scouts during his quests for magic in the lands of El, and as covert agents in the courts of rival kingdoms. This team was composed of individuals such as Jason, Duke, Cassandra, Richard Grayson, Stephanie, and Timothy Drake. A Nightmare on the L Street. A year ago, Master Jimmy Olsen was adopted by the White family, escaping the grim Arkham orphanage. Encouraged by his astronomy passion, he met Prince Kal-El while stargazing. When Jimmy and the other children vanished, Jor-El and Lara launched search parties, while Kal-El, Bruce, and Zala sought answers. They uncovered a sinister plot by Elizabeth Arkham to turn orphans into monsters, with Kirk Langstrom as a victim-turned-savior. The children foiled Arkham's experiments, leading to her arrest and the orphanage's closure. Unbeknownst to them, General Waller secretly recruited Arkham to further her own secret plans. A storm brewing. 19 years had passed since the arrival of the Elves. Prince Kal-El had sought to join a hunt for a banshee, but Bruce had refused, fearing that the banshee's magic might harm Kal-El. Bruce and Alfred had traveled to Feast Village, which had been evacuated by the Robins. There, Bruce confronted the banshee, named Dina, and accused her of being an assassin sent by King Jefferson. In their confrontation, her powerful screams leveled a building, leaving Bruce with damaged ears but otherwise unharmed. Kal-El had intervened, realizing that Dina appeared more like a frightened girl than a monster. They had subdued her and returned her to the castle of El. In the castle, King Jor-El and Queen Lara had summoned Bruce and Kal-El. Kal-El had expressed his belief that Dina was not the feared assassin and had questioned the kingdom's treatment of those with magic. It had been revealed that Bruce was the bastard son of the previous queen, Martha, and had chosen not to claim the throne, allowing Jor-El and Lara to rule. Kal-El had strongly advised Bruce to take the throne, but he denied it. Jor-El had taken Bruce aside and revealed that he was Bruce's father. But before he could finish, a magic-charged arrow, created by the Green Man and shot by the assassin Oliver Queen, struck Jor-El in the eye, ending his life instantly. In the name of thy father. In the clutches of an overpowering rage and sorrow, Bruce tightly held Jor-El's lifeless body, unleashing a heart-wrenching scream that pierced the ear. This anguished cry reached the ears of Lara and Kal-El, prompting them to quickly ascend the battlements. While they were mourning, Bruce took a bold leap from the castle walls, landing in the courtyard below. With Alfred as his companion, he rode urgently towards Hop Forest. Driven by vengeance, Bruce tapped into newfound super abilities, manifesting remarkable speed and strength. Within the depths of the forest, he effortlessly located Oliver, concealed among the trees. Bruce ascended into the air and in one swift, devastating motion, severed Oliver's arm. Alfred intervened, preventing Bruce from delivering a fatal blow, and together they returned Oliver to the castle for questioning. Meanwhile, the Green Man, acting on the guidance of his mystical ring, journeyed to the Kingdom of Storms, conveying the somber news of Jor-El's passing to John Constantine. Constantine, in turn, relayed this disheartening message to King Jefferson. As Jefferson observed his offspring harnessing their inherited power over storms, deep-seated concerns about the consequences of Jor-El's demise began to gnaw at him. Doubts had also crept into Constantine's mind regarding his own prophetic abilities, and he cautioned Jefferson about the escalating discontent among the elves. A Game of Thrones. Within the confines of the Castle of El, General Waller passionately advocated for war against the Kingdom of Storms. Despite the cautious advice of both Harley and Alfred, Waller believed that King Jefferson had sent the assassin who killed Jor-El, but the collective council cautioned against such a course of action. Lara, still in the depths of mourning, hesitated to send their soldiers into what might be a perilous conflict. Waller, however, issued a stern point that a preemptive strike might represent their sole viable option. Kal-El emphasized the urgency of questioning Oliver and establishing King Jefferson's culpability before reaching a decision. The council ultimately dispersed, leaving Alfred to raise a cautionary flag, emphasizing the potential entanglement of other kingdoms should a conflict escalate between the House of El and the Kingdom of Storms. On Amazon Island, Queen Hippolyta received news from her agent Lois regarding Jor-El's demise. This development prompted the assembly of a war council. Lois relayed the grievous news to Zala Jor-El, the beloved of Princess Diana and a formidable warrior in her own right. Overwhelmed by grief, Zala took flight, and both Diana and Lois foresaw the inevitability of the war they had so diligently worked to avert. An eye for an eye. Meanwhile, Kal-El engaged in a conversation with Oliver, who seemed to have come to terms with his impending fate, even encouraging Kal-El to expedite his own demise. Kal-El responded with a resolute assertion that his family had a steadfast commitment to abstain from resorting to murder and that his father Jor-El was a good man. In an unexpected turn of events, right at the very moment, Zala Jor-El launched an assault on Pierce's castle. She threw Prince Jacob from a fatal altitude and killed him. Smiling all the way, King Jefferson retaliated with a potent bolt of lightning, but Zala, undeterred by the ferocity of the attack, insolently quipped that it only tickled. She then took flight, leaving a sorrowful and grieving Jefferson in her wake, and all hope was lost. The shooting star of death, Master Olson, with unwavering focus, observed a shard of kryptonite as it descended from the heavens through a telescope. His immediate response was to summon a Robin, whose purpose was to convey this vital information to Batman. Within the esteemed court of El, discussions unfolded concerning the appropriate course of action in response to the celestial object's descent from the sky. Bruce suggested that he and Alfred undertake a journey spanning half a day's travel to reach the lands of Magnus, the precise location where the star had fallen. This decision was motivated by Constantine's prophecy, which commenced with the phrase, "Come from the stars." Meanwhile, in the expansive reaches of the Magnus lands, the Metal Men embarked on their own quest to investigate the fallen star. However, the journey took an unforeseen turn as they crossed paths with Zala Jor-El, leading to a tragic encounter in which Zala mercilessly and brutally claimed their lives, tearing them apart into scattered pieces. Bruce and Alfred found a sliver of the meteor, but Bruce suddenly felt his strength seeping away, as if he were dying. Alfred tended to Bruce and revived him. That night, Alfred disclosed the secret of Bruce's lineage to him and hailed him as his king. They retrieved the shard of kryptonite and headed back to their kingdom. The grave secret. Amazonian law strictly forbade any man from setting foot on the island itself. In compliance with this regulation, Jefferson and Hippolyta arranged a meeting on Jefferson's vessel. During their conversation, Jefferson openly confessed to his involvement in the orchestrated demise of Jor-El. Furthermore, he revealed that Zala Jor-El was responsible for the tragic death of Prince Jacob. Despite his claims, Diana maintained a skeptical stance on Zala's culpability, while Lois posed questions regarding why Zala didn't choose to completely destroy the castle. Jefferson sought an alliance with Hippolyta, a proposal she accepted. Diana vehemently opposed the notion of the Amazons participating in the forthcoming war, and in defiance of her mother's orders, she departed from Amazonia. During their return journey to the Kingdom of Storms, Jefferson revealed that his actions were a calculated maneuver to prompt Diana's departure from Amazonia. Given her affiliation with the House of El, his aim was to expel her from the Amazonian court. However, their voyage was abruptly disrupted when Zala Jor-El initiated an attack, fatally impaling Jefferson with a fragment of the ship. In his final moments, Jefferson conveyed to Constantine that Anissa had assumed the throne as the new queen. The Forest of Love. Princess Zala Jor-El had returned to the castle of El, finding solace in the comforting words of Kal-El. Together they shared a resolute determination to attain justice for their father. Meanwhile, Harley Quinn embarked on a journey into Hop Forest, where she encountered Ivy, the enigmatic witch who held dominion over the forest realm. Ivy willingly pledged to protect the forest from potential threats from the elves, not out of allegiance to them but as a personal favor to Harley. Driven by their affection for one another, Ivy's keen senses alerted her to Diana's approach as she rode her Pegasus over the forest. With remarkable speed, Ivy ensnared Diana with binding vines. Diana imparted distressing news, revealing that Zala had been accused of a grave crime. Zala and Kal-El soon joined the unfolding confrontation. When Diana asked her about Jacob's death, she outright denied such a heinous conviction. In addition, Diana disclosed the mobilization of the Amazons in support of the Kingdom of Storms, intensifying the gravity of the situation. To Kal-El. Bruce and Alfred made their way back to the castle, where Bruce subsequently arranged a private meeting with Kal-El. In the course of this confidential discussion, Bruce presented Kal-El with the kryptonite fragment, carefully shielded in lead. He disclosed that they were in fact brothers, and expressed his fervent commitment to seeking justice for their fallen father. The turn of events took an unexpected and astonishing twist as Kal-El, driven by an abrupt impulse, thrust the shard deep into Bruce's chest and hurled him into the air with super speed. With a sinister determination, Kal-El proclaimed their rightful dominion over the world, resolute in his stance that no challenges to their monarchy could be tolerated. Utilizing his extraordinary strength and speed, he forcefully hurled Bruce towards the ground and left him dead. Bruce, battered and dying, encountered an unforeseen turn of fate. Humble peasants, Jonathan and Martha Kent, came to his aid, promptly removing the kryptonite from his chest and taking him to their farm for the necessary care and recovery. Grief, intrigue, and opportunities. After King Jefferson's passing, John Constantine mourned in the halls of Pierce's castle. Timothy Drake, a covert operative within the Robin ranks, sought to bring Constantine to Anissa's coronation but was met with rejection. In a surprising turn, John exposed Timothy's true allegiance to Bruce, shedding light on his knowledge of a magical assassin. John hoped Timothy could prevent an assassination, even with concerns about the Elves' threat. This revelation led to Timothy's expulsion as a spy. Princess Jennifer contemplated execution, but John pleaded for mercy, emphasizing Timothy's pawn-like role. He departed with a warning for Queen Lara about an impending war. At the Castle of El, with Bruce missing and the other Robins searching for him, Tim reported to Queen Lara about the impending war with the Kingdom of Storms and King Jefferson's alleged murder by Zala. Despite Zala's denial, Timothy insisted that multiple sources confirmed this. Lara dismissed the court, but General Waller suggested they could create allegiance with Amazonia by assassinating Hippolyta, capitalizing on Diana's love for Zala. Meanwhile, in the Kingdom of Storms, Constantine summoned the demon Etrigan to speak with Ras Al Ghul, requesting the resurrection of Jefferson and Jacob. Ras agreed to bring back Jacob in exchange for a group of sheltered children called the Titans. The glimmering hope. Amidst mounting tension and the imminent war, Kal-El chose to fly to Amazonia to converse with Hippolyta, urging her not to support the Kingdom of Storms. However, this goodwill gesture met with a violent response, including a strike from Hippolyta's enchanted sword, culminating in Kal-El's confinement under the lasso of truth. In their dungeon, Kal-El was visited by Lois. Lois realized that Kal-El had come solely to talk to Hippolyta, harboring no ill intentions. She expressed her dismay at the rapid escalation and a sense that everyone was being controlled like puppets on invisible strings. Though Kal-El implored her to intercede and stop Hippolyta, Lois revealed it was too late, as the Amazonian fleet had already set sail for war. The Unholy Alliance. Bruce, who had been injured, awoke from a feverish nightmare in which the elves were wreaking havoc and taking control of the earth. Upon regaining consciousness, he crossed paths with the Titans, a group of metahumans being pursued by Ras Al Ghul. At first, Bruce harbored resentment towards Raven for assisting him in removing a toxic krypton shard from his body. However, Jonathan and Martha managed to soothe his anger, helping him see that not all metahumans posed a threat to humanity, despite the tragic loss of his parents at the hands of a metahuman like Green Man. Corey, a member of the Titans, brought an imprisoned Grayson to Bruce, who had tracked him from the remnants of his damaged armor to the Kent farm. Grayson disclosed that the war had already begun. Meanwhile, Raz resurrected Jacob and obtained the location of the Kent farm from Constantine. Bruce engaged Raz in a fierce battle, facing Raz in his Etrigan form and his League of Shades. The Beast Boy changed into a dragon that Bruce rode to the battle with Etrigan. With support from the Titans and the Kents, they managed to repel the intruders from El's land. Despite this victory, Bruce hesitated to return to the Elves, feeling that Kal-El had made it clear they didn't need him. The Kents imparted the message that he was not a monster, and with a little humility and empathy, he had the potential to be a great leader and the only one capable of preventing the impending war. Inspired by their words, Bruce decided to head towards the Kingdom of Elves. The beginning of the end. The Amazons and the Kingdom of Storms rallied near the border of the lands of El, while Luther, the Green Man, observed their camp, believing that the era of kings and magic was drawing to a close. Queen Anissa and Princess Jennifer of the Kingdom of Storms met with Queen Hippolyta of the Amazons, who expressed regret for not taking the Elves' threat seriously and offered unwavering support. Lois approached John Constantine, suspecting that external influences were pushing the kingdoms towards war and that Zala's recent behavior didn't align with her true character. However, John was too consumed by grief for Jefferson to heed her concerns. In the dungeons of the Castle of El, Oliver and Dina communicated through their prison cells. Oliver suggested teaching Dina to harness her destructive scream for their escape. The two armies converged in Hob Forest, where Harley Quinn and General Waller attempted to initiate negotiations. However, the invading forces demanded the Elves surrender and Constantine attacked, leading to chaos. Ivy's Wines emerged from the ground to hold back the Army of Storms. Luther intervened, subduing Ivy, and urged the armies to advance towards the castle. Back at the castle, Lara, the leader of the Elves, contemplated facing the Amazons and the Kingdom of Storms alone, but Waller and Harley insisted that her people relied on her leadership. When Olsen reported that the invaders were nearing, Lara reluctantly prepared for battle. Tensions escalated as various factions teetered on the brink of a conflict orchestrated by concealed influences. The devastating confrontation. In the open field in front of the castle, the two armies faced each other. Waller teetered on the edge of giving the order for the archers to release their arrows, but Zala and Diana descended from the sky, directing them to hold their fire. They positioned themselves in front of Anissa and Hippolyta, making a final attempt at a peaceful resolution. Despite Hippolyta's demand for Diana to step aside, Diana remained resolute in her determination to defend the Elves. In a surprising turn of events, Jacob Pierce, who had seemingly returned from the dead and had been concealed in the carriage by Constantine, used his magic to fill Zala's lungs with water, seeking retribution for her prior threat to his life. Jacob hesitated when he saw Zala dying, torn by reluctance to send anyone to the afterlife where he had been, but John urged him to continue. Diana implored Hippolyta to intervene and stop the one responsible for harming Zala, yet Hippolyta hesitated. Suddenly, Queen Lara descended from the sky, landing in the midst of the standoff. The earth-shattering impact of her landing sent everyone scattering and disrupted Jacob's control, ultimately saving Zala's life. Hippolyta extended an offer of peaceful surrender, promising to save their lives and prevent a war, and reached out her hand to Lara. However, Lara's response was entirely unexpected. Lara took Hippolyta's hand, but her sinister reply to Hippolyta was, "Where's the fun in that?" Then she used her heat vision to brutally cut Hippolyta in half, leaving everyone in a state of shock. The War of Regrets. Meanwhile, Cassandra liberated Kal-El from the confines of the Amazonian dungeons, reassuring him that Amazonia also had no desire to engage in the war. Kal-El took hold of the lasso of truth and soared towards his kingdom in an attempt to halt the conflict. Upon his arrival, Kal witnessed the devastating war already underway between the Elves and the Storms. Death and destruction pervaded the landscape when suddenly Queen Lara launched an attack on Kal-El, hurtling him into the midst of the battlefield. In a heartbroken and enraged state, Diana also assailed Kal-El when he attempted to reason with her. Witnessing their prince's fall, Waller summoned the entire army to join the fray. To exasperate the situation, the Green Man, at the behest of his ring, was called upon to eliminate everyone in sight, but he was swiftly intercepted by Anissa, and the situation took a turn for the worse. The turning of the tides. In the darkest of moments, when it seemed that all hope had vanished, and a grim fate of bloodshed and death loomed over everything, Batman emerged as a ray of light. He soared into the scene atop the transformed Beast Boy, who had taken the form of a colossal dragon. Batman's arrival brought an abrupt pause to the ongoing conflict as he used Beast Boy's fiery dragon breath to disperse the combatants. Bruce descended onto the battlefield and directly confronted Kal-El. With a sword drawn, he questioned Kal-El about his attempted assassination, to which Kal-El remained clueless. Amidst the chaotic battlefield, Lois approached Constantine and forced him to reckon with the fallacy of his prophecy, as the Green Man was now attacking his own people. Meanwhile, Queen Lara was revealed to be in the L dungeons, eliminating anyone deemed a threat. Witnessing this, Dina and Oliver managed to escape onto the battlefield, inflicting injuries on Queen Lara. However, when Lara retaliated to eliminate Dina, their skirmish was interrupted by an unexpected figure, the true Queen Lara. They will look like us, they will sound like us, but they are not us. The long-awaited prophecy unfolded in the most unexpected series of events. All eyes on the battlefield were now fixated on two avatars of Queen Lara, one wreaking havoc and the other attempting to halt the chaos. Witnessing this, the Ring commanded the Green Man to make a swift exit, and Alfred urgently shouted to employ fire to attack. In response, Oliver leaped into action, setting an arrow ablaze and launching it directly into the chest of the malevolent Queen Lara. The flames unveiled the true identity of the creature, exposing it as a shape-changing white alien. Wounded, the white alien took flight, leaving Kal-El and Zala bewildered, and quickly departed the scene. Under the battlefield's turmoil, Alfred sought Bruce's forgiveness for not recognizing the unfolding events earlier. He confessed to having brought the war that had destroyed his home world to Earth. In doing so, he revealed his true form as a green alien. The morning, the war exacted a toll on all three kingdoms, claiming the lives of their rulers. The battlefield was a grim sight, littered with the corpses of both friends and foes who had sacrificed themselves for a cause they believed in, albeit one that ultimately served different interests. Diana directed her anger towards Alfred, who had been unveiled as a green alien. But before she could resort to force, Bruce and Beast Boy intervened. Eventually, Kal-El stepped in, handing Diana the golden lasso to compel Alfred to reveal the truth. Bound by the lasso, Alfred confessed that he had never intended harm to anyone, considered Bruce his own son, and was unswervingly loyal to the Elves. Constantine realized the flaws in his prophecy and harbored resentment at being manipulated in the grand scheme. Anissa and Jacob were joyfully reunited, and even though Waller advised otherwise, Queen Lara stood firm in her decision to welcome all three armies into the Kingdom of El, providing them with food and medical assistance. Subsequently, the four queens of the four kingdoms, Queen Lara of Elves, Queen Anissa of Storms, Queen Diana of Amazons, and Queen Ivy of the Hobbs Forest convened and listened to the true account of events from Alfred, who remained bound by the lasso. The revelation. Alfred unveiled his true identity as John Jones, hailing from a distant and splendid planet inhabited by telepathic and shape-shifting beings. On his home planet, he had a family, but there existed a rift between the white and green tribes. One of the white aliens, Protex, believed in white supremacy and initiated a brutal campaign against the peaceful green tribe, sparking a devastating civil war that resulted in the loss of many green lives, including his wife. Despite the Greens discovering fire weaponry, the conflict ultimately left the world in ruins under Protex's leadership. Tragically, John's son fell victim to Protex's violence, compelling John to flee to Earth, where the white aliens pursued him. The Waynes were privy to this secret but concealed it due to prophecies and references to the Green Man. The Queens, however, eventually acknowledged the truth and united to confront Protex. Meanwhile, a befuddled Luther, also known as the Green Man, met his demise at the hands of Protex, who was revealed to be the true force controlling his green ring. The preparation. While Harley, Constantine, and Lois devised their own strategy to combat the white shapeshifters, Kal-El and Bruce reconciled in a manner only brothers could, burying their differences. Nevertheless, The white shapeshifters discovered the entire Kryptonian meteor that had fallen and forged Kryptonian swords capable of harming the El family. Amid the planning, someone granted access to the El dungeons for Protex, where John was still held captive. However, before Protex could harm John, he telepathically summoned Bruce and Cal, and they used their heat vision to thwart him. All the armies joined forces and devised a plan to employ fire in their battle against the Whites. Ivy provided the wood, which was set ablaze in the El fields, while Diana and Zala created a fiery moat encircling the kingdom. Bruce and John reconciled, and Cal and Bruce released the inmates they had previously imprisoned, enlisting their aid in the fight. Despite strong opposition from Waller, Queen Lara approved of their decision. Finally, Queen Lara, Kal-El, and Zala unearthed their Kryptonian ship, retrieved the plans for a Phantom Zone projector, and collaboratively constructed it for use against the Whites. The Treachery. But little did anyone know that Waller had secretly been colluding with the Whites all along. She orchestrated the manipulation of all the kingdoms and was the mastermind behind allowing Protex access to the dungeon to eliminate John. Waller had entered into a pact with Etrigan, ensuring his protection through Hellfire and making her impervious to any white shapeshifter. While the preparations for the impending war against the Whites were underway, Waller and her accomplice Deadshot convened with Protex. They hatched a scheme to have Deadshot extinguish the moat so that the Whites could kill all three families, with the understanding that failure was not an option this time. After that, the oceans until the frozen lands of Jarnland would belong to the Whites, and the Kingdom of Elves would be Waller's. The final fight. On the following day, the schemes of both heroes and villains were put into action. Deadshot enlisted the help of Captain Cold to generate a blizzard that would extinguish the moat surrounding the castle. Anissa led her soldiers into battle, boldly advancing with her Amazon army, while Dina cleared the White Army cloud using her supersonic scream. Meanwhile, Bruce, Kal-El, Diana, and Zala departed for the battlefield, leaving John behind in the guise of Alfred. Kal-El informed Protex that the Whites desired them and not the others, so they were taking the battle elsewhere. They then flew away, with the White shapeshifters closely tailing them. According to Constantine's plan, they led the Whites to the Kristoff Mountains for their final confrontation. Anissa and Queen Lara triggered an earthquake that awakened a long-dormant volcano in the mountains. The majority of the Whites met their demise in the molten lava, while Prince Jacob shielded the castle with rain. In accordance with Harley's plan, Zala coated Kal-El, Bruce, and Diana in pitch, and the great heroes were set ablaze. While Kal-El took on the White Army, Bruce faced off against Protex, and Diana confronted Graz, the alien responsible for her mother's death. Diana made an example by decapitating Graz's with her fiery sword, while Bruce subdued Protex. Although Diana had a desire to eliminate all the Whites, Kal-El and Queen Lara opted to show them mercy and banish them to the Phantom Zone, where they would be lost forever. The final loss. Within the castle, Alfred discerned Waller's scheme through telepathy. He then confronted Waller and Deadshot, revealing his awareness of her intentions to eliminate the White aliens after their assistance in toppling the Three Kingdoms. Despite his efforts to thwart Waller, he remained unaware of her protection by Hellfire. Tragically, Alfred himself ignited and began to burn. Bruce, sensing Alfred's agony, swiftly journeyed to El Castle. There, Alfred's body succumbed to the inferno of Hellfire, reducing him to ashes within Bruce's embrace before he could disclose the hidden secrets. Waller promptly shifted the blame onto Deadshot, accusing him of being a traitor and the one responsible for Alfred's demise, leading to Deadshot's immediate elimination. Alfred took Waller's secrets to the grave. Never the end. With the imminent threat now under control, all the kingdoms opted to unite and establish an alliance, presenting a united front. Constantine, Harley, and Lois, the three strategic minds, joined forces to plan for the potential dangers that could arise from other kingdoms viewing their unity as a threat. Although Queen Lara and Kal-El wished for Bruce to assume the role of king, Bruce had different intentions. he sought a soul-searching journey where his true identity would remain concealed. Kal-El expressed his commitment to await Bruce's return, at which point he would follow the Bat King. As a result, the three kingdoms came together, formalizing their collaboration through a signed treaty. For the first time on this medieval Earth, a league was established, ready to confront any looming threats that hid in the shadows. Marvelous verdict. Oof, what an epic saga that was. So now that we know this world of steel, be sure to read the upcoming Elseworlds story from DC named Dark Knights of Steel all winter in 2024. And rest assured that we will come back with a detailed video of any stories that appear on this Earth 118. Stay tuned for more coveted videos. Until then, continue to like, share, and subscribe. So back to Earth Q, my explorers.